Johnny Fever himself has been so inspired by the bravery and strength of these recent formerly closeted Women Plus and would now like to take this time to come out of the closet for all of his viewers and people around the world. Yes.
Do we have a deal?
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. You know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe.
Thank you for tuning in to The Blue Pill, the world leader in fake news, where ignorance is bliss. A special thank you to my fake studio audience who will be chuckling along throughout the episode. Now, for the top story, the Oppression Olympics. Now that we are almost finished with the NHL and the NBA playoffs, soon the summer sporting drought will be upon us. Thankfully, this year there is no drought, as we can all look forward to the continuation of the Oppression Olympics, otherwise known as the Victimhood Olympics. Typically, the Olympics are every 4 years, and this tends to make them meaningful, something to look forward to. But not the Oppression Olympics. No, the Oppression Olympics are like 7-Eleven, or like Quickie Mart. They are 24/7, 365 days a year.
Thank you, come again.
Or better yet, like the Energizer Bunny. They just keep going and going and going. The Oppression Olympics are also the most inclusive event, as there's no escape. No escape for anybody. From the nattering, nagging Karens.
I'm checking her.
Excuse me.
Hey,
Excuse me.
What do you
Excuse
want?
me.
Yes.
Roll it down, please.
I'm not rolling. Who the hell are
Sir,
you?
this is private property.
Karens who are constantly pushing the Oppression Olympics down our throats, which, ironically, in itself is oppressive. So what are the Oppression Olympics? Think of it like the Hunger Games, where self-identified groups of oppressed people fight it out to the death for the moral high ground, for clout, and for public funding and accommodations. But most importantly, for leading roles in Marvel movies. The prize is priceless. The prize is the power of ignorance, the power of projection, and the power of accusation. These powers, like Thor's hammer, can crush all of those that would dispute their supremacy. By simply accusing others of phobias, isms, a self-identified victim can destroy an innocent person's career, their reputation, and their lives. Just think about it. The power is amazing. But be wary, for if you are part of a self-identified oppressed group and you come up against someone who is at the intersection of multiple victim statuses, that person is more oppressed than you, and therefore they can destroy you, or worse, they can accuse you of misogyny and white supremacy. If you are at the intersection of 4 victim statuses all at once, you have acquired the Infinity Stones of victimhood. And you can wipe out entire swaths of innocents or lesser oppressed people with the utterance of these words, such as white supremacy, preceded by you are, regardless of your skin color or beliefs. Now, these powers are not absolute, and they can be thwarted with simple facts and logic. Facts and logic are the kryptonite to these powers and can have a devastating effect against a self-proclaimed victim that tries to wield these powers in the presence of facts and logic. As self-identified groups fight for the position at the top of the oppression pyramid, we know for sure who is at the bottom. White guys. Like women 1.0s, are unable to compete with women plus. White guys simply can't compete with the self-identified victims and are forever at the bottom of the pyramid. But not all is lost for the white guy in the oppression Olympics, as some of these crafty crackers have hacked the game and they themselves have started identifying as victims. Take City Councilman Ryan Webb, for example, who has recently identified as a woman of color, making herself the first minority woman on the Delaware County City Council. Great news for diversity and equity. And he's already well underway using his new victimhood powers to indict all of those who would deny his existence. Or Ari Silverberg, who is recently identified as a woman and is now the strongest woman in the world, recently crushing all women's powerlifting records at the Heroes Classic Women's Tournament in Canada. Or the old guy, now a women plus, Glenique Frank, who defeated 14,000 women 1.0s in the London Marathon. As an old man, he was decrepit and not competitive, but as a woman, he's better than all of them. Nice.
Nice.
And finally, David Hughes, who now identifies as a woman, has recently won a women's-only poker tournament, showing conclusively that not all women suck at poker. Interestingly enough, apparently a few of the 1.0s put lofty bounties on David's head, showing they can't even do that right. Johnny Fever himself has been so inspired by the bravery and strength of these recent formerly closeted women plus, and would now like to take this time to come out of the closet for all of his viewers and people around the world. Yes, Johnny Fever is in fact trans. He has known this since he was a young lad watching cartoons on Saturday mornings, playing with his favorite dolls. Yes, I, Johnny Fever, am trans. And my pronouns are Autobot and Decepticon. Please respect the pronouns. And I accept the title of the first transformer to host an internet fake news channel. I, Johnny Fever, have smashed the glass ceiling, and I couldn't be prouder of myself. What is next for Johnny Fever, you might ask, on my journey as a trans? Well, gender-affirming care, of course, and finally, medical transition surgery into my final form, the Technique-Tron 1200s, with my trusty sidekick, Laserbeak. My only regret is that my parents should have confirmed my identity when I was a young child and allowed me to transition into a transformer as a kid. You damn transformer phobes. And that is the top story. Hi, this is Johnny Fever. Thanks for watching The Blue Pill. Just a little note on this show. This is a satire production. That means it is all in good fun. I am never ever making fun of individuals. I am strictly making fun of current events and crazy ideas. So please, don't be personally offended by anything said on this show. Now, enjoy the next segment. Welcome back to The Blue Pill. This is Election Coverage 2024. The election season is upon us, thank God. And the GOP primary is getting going as contenders are lining up to split the vote, ensuring another Donald Trump victory. The theme of the GOP primary seems to be diversity, as all of the challengers appear to be representing a plethora of identities, differentiating themselves from the Democrat side, representing old senile white guys. Jumping into the fold is an impressive group led by Donald Trump, who is representing orange people and Oompa Loompas, and being largely funded by the citrus industry. Ron DeSantis, who seems to be representing dwarves and little people. As president, he would no doubt be breaking the glass ceiling as the first president to be wearing high heels. Just another case of men doing women stuff better than women, I guess. Then we've got Nikki Haley jumping in the race as the candidate who has passed her prime.
Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s. And
with strong support from the Karen demographic and other women who have hit the wall. Tim Scott has penetrated the field, which apparently is the first time he's penetrated anything, being a strong representative for the 1/3 of young men who are virgins or who have not had mechs in the last year. He will definitely carry the incel vote in the primary and is likely the most relatable candidate to Democrat voters, specifically Democrat men who we all know cannot get laid no matter how hard they simp. And for the second time, Chris Christie will soon be entering the race with a splash, with strong support from the donut lovers. It is worth noting that Chris Christie also has strong pull with Democrat voters, specifically the fat white chicks on TikTok calling everyone racist for not wanting to date their fat behinds. And finally, on the Democrat side, the Democrat National Committee has told Democrat voters that they cannot have a primary and that Joe Biden will be coronated as the Democrat nominee, as the Democrats desperately attempt to save democracy by preventing voting. In other news of things that won't happen or didn't happen, former President Donald Trump has been found liable in the New York State civil case where he was accused by E. Jean Carroll of grape. Although the jury found Trump not guilty of grape, they did give her a settlement for $5 million. Since she had no evidence, nor could remember when the supposed assault happened, the jury was forced to cite the I Hate Trump subsection of the New York State Constitution to justify the kangaroo court's judgment. As you know, this is the blue pill, and in the spirit of Me Too and fake news, Johnny Fever is reminded of an incident in New York about 25 years ago, back when I was identifying as a young girl and was accosted, then raped by 45 at a hip-hop rap concert where Trump was the guest of honor. Now, this of course was before he became a Republican, which made him a racist. Now sure, I don't have any evidence to support my claim, nor have I ever been to New York, nor have I ever identified as a young girl, yet. But no worries, as I'm told by Alvin Briggs, that I have a very strong case in the state of New York, under the aforementioned I Hate Trump laws, and that my payday is just around the corner. You can read about all of the juicy details of my horrid imaginary experience in my upcoming book, Things That Never Happened to Johnny Fever. And that is Election 24 and Blue Pill politics.
Ignorance is bliss.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe.
Up next, Boycott News. As I talked about in the previous episode, Bud Light has inflicted one of the greatest self-owns in human history. Sure, their stock has plummeted and they are no longer the #1 selling beer in America, but as a consolation, they have claimed the mantle of the gayest beer on earth. By association, they have turned Bud Light delivery truck drivers gay overnight. Some guys have all the luck. That said, this is sure to be a boon for the gayest team in all of sports, those bum pirates, the Las Vegas Raiders. Go Chiefs. Historians for decades will look back at this amazing accomplishment as everybody knows that the gay community and women are broadly known as the primary customers for beer, and especially Bud Light. After all, who could question the genius of Bud Light hiring their VP of Carening, their VP of Marketing, Alyssa Heinrichsheid, as the first woman to lead the biggest beer brand in the world? As everyone knows, women love beer. And Alyssa obviously would know exactly how to market to their core customer base. It's a wonder why Bud Light didn't hire a woman for this job previously. After all, we've all seen how well Star Wars has done since being taken over by women.
Young fool. Only now, at the end, do you understand?
Because of her success, Alyssa has had numerous offers from competing wine companies, such as Prosecco, for her new campaign idea featuring Andrew Tate as the spokesman for the popular rosé, with the marketing phrase, "You're too old, woman. Drink this and shut up." Also, feminine products giant Tampax has approached her for her brilliant idea to feature, you guessed it, Donald Trump and his
Grab him by the pussy.
campaign for pads and tampons. Rumor has it that Bud Light is willing to let her go to these or any other company without any compensation. Please take her, Bud Light representatives were reported saying. In other boycott news, in a fit of jealousy, the Miller Lite CEO, in a desperate attempt to get some of the woke clout Bud Light has been enjoying, has been recorded telling the Bud Light CEO to hold my beer. I'll show you how to do this, son, with his No More Hot Chicks in Bikinis campaign. Because we all know that nothing makes a man want to drink beer more than being lectured by a masculine short-haired feminist. Hubba hubba. It's also rumored that Miller Lite, the longtime sponsor and official beer of the Green Bay Packers, was instrumental in pushing Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay. When asked about this move, Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, and Chicago Bears fans all supported the move and called it brilliant. Now, we all know that it is inappropriate to market sexy women in bikinis to grown men to sell beer, because we all know the only place where mechs is appropriate for marketing is when it's marketed towards children. Speaking of marketing mechs and corn to your children, retail giant Target has made the headlines in the past month for targeting your kids with pornography. Target has found itself in the crosshairs of the basket of deplorables and any other parent who isn't in favor of their kids being groomed. Target has been targeting your kids with lewd and perverted merchandise and a little bit of Satan sprinkled on top. To demonstrate how well this is going for Target, they are featured in the popular chart-topping song called Boycott Target by Foraggio Blow.
They put a target on my back, but they're targeting your kids. They don't even need to ask, cause you all know what it is. Yeah, that's
Well done, guys. Gone are the days of young boys having to steal a Playboy from his dad's stash and hide behind the garage to cop a peek. Nope, Target has brought the corn right to the main aisle with graphic coloring books and tuck-friendly bathing suits to hide your little one's stiffy. Swimsuits for little boys that want to win medals and trophies in little girl swim meets and other little girl sports like softball. After all, why bother with talent, training, and hard work when you can simply tuck your junk in a Target swimsuit or other athletic gear and simply show up and win? More time for little boys to play video games, like J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. Am I right? All of this has Johnny Fever wondering, who's next to go woke? Is it Fox News? Chick-fil-A? Yeah, like that'll happen. And that is the Boycott News.